The clear case from Casetify was one of my most anticipated clear cases this year. It was up there with the ghost case from dbrand just because of all the glowing reviews I heard when it came out about halfway-ish through the iPhone 14's life. And if you're wondering why I didn't buy it for my 14 last year, it's because I did the whole a year caseless thing with my 14 Pro. But about a month and a half after the release of the 15, Casetify finally released their clear cases for the 15 series. I believe it was actually during their 11/11 sale or whatever they call it. And yeah, I've been dailying it ever since, so these are my thoughts. Unsponsored, and is it worth your hard-earned money? And before we get into it, yes, I am aware of the current lawsuit going on over Casetify stealing dbrand designs. However, like most of you, I am a normal consumer that has no monetary ties to either of these companies, so I genuinely don't care. I'm gonna say it how it is. If I don't like something, I'm gonna let you know. If I like something, same thing. I'm gonna let you know. I just do not care about the beef between multi-million-dollar companies. I just don't care. So let's get started with the review. And yes, I will be drawing a lot of comparisons to the dbrand ghost case because this was probably the most anticipated clear case this year. And well, if you saw my video, then you know that it kind of fell below my expectations because I own a lot of dbrand products and they're really high quality. This did not really live up to their standards that they've set. Casetify's case, in certain lighting, under the right conditions, it actually has a tint of blue to it. If you look at this case looks clear, right? This is a magback case. This case looks clear. But now look at it next to this one. Now it doesn't look clear. And I don't know what witchcraft Casetify is doing that it only looks blue in very certain lightings, and it's just a hint, it's just a very faintness of blue. I mean, I know that blue cancels out yellow, and you would want to add blue to yellow to get the yellow to go away. I don't know what they're doing, but this looks insanely clear, abnormally clear. Thought I'd mention it because that was one of the first things that I noticed was just how insanely clear it is, and then it also looks blue in certain lighting. Next up, let's talk about slickness because that is a pretty big topic for clear cases. If you've ever owned an Apple clear case, I think that they coat theirs in like butter or something because the Apple clear cases are stupidly slick. This is a slick case. However, there is some sort of coating on it that makes it not as slick as the Apple clear case. However, it's not as grippy as something like the dbrand case with the rubber grip on the side, or even something like the magback case, which uses more TPU than this case does, which we'll talk about how this case feels in just a second in terms of excluding grip. So yeah, I thought that I'd mention it. It is slick, but it's not as slick as like the Apple clear case. And speaking of how this case feels excluding the slickness, it's very rigid. This case is very rigid. They are really using mostly PC here. When I do this, like this case bends, right? Like this case bends and flexes. This case, while it does bend, it takes a lot more for it to bend. If I was to do this, I can get this to fold in my hand. This does not want to fold, like at all. So yeah, this case is very, very rigid and stiff. And in fact, if we go ahead and throw the phone in, because I know a lot of people like to know how tight the case holds on, you can just listen to this. You hear that? If I try to take it off, you can hear it snapping back on. This case holds on to the phone very, very well. Like it is up there with how tight the dbrand case holds on. This is up there with it. Like your phone, if you drop it, it's not coming out. It doesn't hang on as tight as the dbrand case, but that's just because dbrand has this like little, it's almost like a hook that hooks over your screen. And while this does protrude past the screen, in case you want to like put it face down, the screen's not going to touch the surface, it doesn't hook over. Soft like shock absorption material on the inside, you can probably see that it actually adds this little spot-like pattern design. I don't mind it. However, I want to show it and I want to mention it because that might not be up your alley. I feel like that the only thing on this case that might yellow is that, right? Is that soft shock absorption on the side. The case has been out now for quite a while for like the 14s and people say that it hasn't yellowed yet. So hopefully it keeps it up and it stays crystal clear. But if something's gonna yellow, it's gonna be that shock absorption. And speaking of that shock absorption, 6.6 feet, I believe, 6.6 feet rated. I believe them simply because my first Casetify case was the iPhone XS when I was like, I think it was like 18, 19 years old. I was going through my, college party phase, and the phone got absolutely just thrown around, just launched across the rooms, dropped so many times on like concrete, pavement, hardwood floors, anything you can think of, that phone was dropped in. And by the time I got ready to sell it, it was in pristine condition. So, and it wasn't an impact case where this is a clear case, but the old impact cases are what the clear cases are rated at nowadays, and the new impact cases are rated above. So yeah, I trust their drop test. Yeah, like I'll sit here and I'll drop it from like a foot above a hard counter. Like I completely trust it to keep my phone nice and protected. Now I also do want to mention the thickness, which is 1.4 in comparison. The D brand is 1.2, so it is a little bit thicker. However, with that being said, it feels better in the hand, just right off the bat. I don't know what it is. They have this like, you can kind of see it there. I don't know what that is. It's like an extra layer in the back. I mean, it's more than likely to accommodate the MagSafe ring because D brand didn't accommodate that, so it actually sticks out. And we'll talk about MagSafe strength here in just a second. But because of that, they've also kind of rounded this corner right here, and it kind of feels like going from like the old iPhones to the new 15s where they rounded the corners. That's honestly what it feels like. For example, like going from the D brand case, like yes, it is slightly rounded, but this feels a lot sharper in the hand than this. This just feels a lot smoother, a lot more rounded. It feels really solid in the hand, like it's comfortable. It's not digging into my skin. And if that means it's 0.2 millimeters thicker, I'll take it. The camera lip. It does protrude enough to where you can set the phone on its back and your cameras aren't gonna touch the surface. Still not a fan of the Casetify branding. I've never been a fan of it. On all my other Casetify cases, I've always taken black ink and blacked out the Casetify so it's less noticeable. I'm gonna do the same thing here. Same thing here I'm gonna do once I'm done recording this video. I'm gonna get some ink and I'm gonna fill it in. Just as simple as that. I'm not a fan of the branding. Also want to mention this side branding. This case is made out of 65% recycled material. Thankfully, you can't really see that. Like even on camera, it's having a hard time picking it up. And in person, it also has a hard time picking it up. So, or in your eyes, like you can see it if you're looking for it, but if you're not looking for it, it kind of just blends in with the phone. I mean, I'm not a fan of that either. I wish they'd take the branding off. That's something that I can give a big round of applause to D-Brand for. No branding. I don't like the branding here. Next up, let's talk lips and button cutouts. And just like the rest of the case, they are very sturdy, like stupidly strong. The bottom, absolutely no movement. Next to the buttons, no movement. Up top, no movement. As you know, when I reviewed this case, there was a ton of flex down here. Less flex than on the bottom around the buttons, and hardly no flex up top, right? Like I want this no flex up top to be all the way around, because over time, this can start to kind of wear and it'll start to just on its own like warp and it won't be straight anymore. Yeah, so this case, excellent. Like I said before, it's very rigid, and the lips around the buttons and the bottom and top are fantastic. The USB-C cutout, if it'll focus. The USB-C cutout, well, first of all the cutouts for the things down here, they're very precise, which I like. We'll get more into the buttons later, but this right here does pass my big, fat, thick USB-C connection. As you can see, it goes all the way in, which was something that I praised the D-Brand case for also doing. The D-Brand case is slightly bigger on the cutout. However, this is big enough for my thicker USB-C cables. For example, this is the MagBack one. This doesn't fit, right? Like this doesn't fit. It gets stuck, so it can't fully connect. Or you have to like jam it in and like stretch out the port, and yeah. Sadly, this case does have a cutout for the action button and not an actual button, considering that the buttons, which we'll talk about here in a second, are so good on this case. The action button is a cutout. I wish it would have been an actual button. However, even with D-Brand's recessed action button, so you can kind of feel for it, I think it was like 2 or 3 times while I was using this case, accidentally hit this thinking it was the volume button. Maybe now that I'm more used to the action button and I have a better muscle memory of where it's at on the phone, I wouldn't do that. But what I will say is that with this cutout, I've never accidentally hit my action button thinking that it's my volume button. So I'm just gonna put that out there. Now, one thing I don't like is the charm cutout. I don't know, maybe it's not a US thing, maybe it's popular in other countries, but here in the US, I've never seen someone with a charm on their phone, and I think this is just stupid. Thankfully, you really just don't realize it's there after like the first day, kind of like the branding that actually, oh yeah, it's on this side here. It literally just blends into the phone. You know, I don't like this either, and same thing with this, but at least it does kind of just blend into the phone, but I wish it wasn't there. Now, my biggest compliment about this case, the buttons. Oh yeah, the buttons are, I know you can't hear them. Hang on, let me see if I put it up close to the mic. You hear that? Floating buttons, and they are great. Are they OtterBox level great? No. OtterBox still has the craziest floating buttons that I've ever felt. These are a close second. And like they're actual floating buttons. No, the D brand does not have floating buttons. These are cutouts which are designed to kind of act like floating buttons, but they're still cutouts. They're not actual buttons. Now, let's talk about the MagSafe strength. And I did actually grab some of my MagSafe accessories. The MagSafe strength for a clear case that has just a normal magnet ring around it, it's good, right? You know, clear cases, you're never gonna get a good MagSafe strength in comparison to something like, for example, I had the fine woven case this year, and it was fantastic on the MagSafe strength. It sucks, the rest of the case sucked, but yeah, this is a nice strength. I put it on my car's MagSafe mount, it never goes anywhere. Besides that, I really don't use MagSafe because I've switched back to using the physical wire to charge my phone at night, just with the USB-C. If we slap this right here on it, yeah, you can like dangle it around. It's not going anywhere. It is stronger than this. The D brand case, as you know, even the MagSafe one isn't that good. And the wallets and stuff are really not good because they have that weird gap in between it because where it's raised. The MagSafe strength is good. Now something like my MagBack that has like the extra magnets, this is a like this thing is crazy strong. So it's not MagBack level, right? But it is better than the Ghost case. It's good for a clear case. But compared to everything else with like leather and the other materials, it's all right. Now finally, let's talk about scratches. One of the biggest downfalls of the Ghost case. As you can see here, this is my Ghost case, right? I use this for pretty much around the same amount of time. I actually think I've used this, my Casetify case, a little bit more now. And as you can see, the Casetify case looks miles better than the Ghost case does. I mean, and like this case still scratches, it still gets the smudges when you put the phone in. However, it's just, I don't know if it's the thickness of the back, how it's a little bit thicker, so it disperses the light better so you don't see the scratches. I don't know what it is. But this case just doesn't look as scratched up. Where this case looks scratched to death. I mean, this also has that gloss black on it, which I don't know why they put that on there because that just shows scratches like crazy. But yeah, so it still does scratch. Scratches don't show as bad as this. Scratches are good. It's not anything to be concerned about, unlike the D brand case. And I said that was the final thing. However, I did want to mention customization. As you'll see here, I got the phone customized. This is just my name on it. I did get another case here. This is a gift that I got for the lady, and these are our dogs. Great print quality, fantastic print quality. This is just a 14 impact case. Yeah, great print quality, and that's something about these cases that just no other case does. So yeah, to wrap this up, should you buy this case? Is it worth it? Yes, but not full price. Please do not pay $70 for this case. That is insane for a case. I didn't even pay full price for my D brand case. I paid $40 for this because I used like accessorizes, like discount or whatever it was. I mean, you shouldn't be paying anything full price nowadays, especially online, because pretty much every store runs some sort of like always 10% off. But I got this during their 11/11 sale where I bought 2 cases and I got each of them for $50. So I paid $50 for this, and for $50, I think it's great. Especially it being customized. Normally, you know, like the D brand Ghost case, this is $50 and it's not even customized, where this was $50 and I was able to fully customize it. Yes, I want something super simple, but I could have went all out and it would have been the same price. These like PNG cutouts of our dog, same price. So, as if I would have just done something simple. So yes, I do think the case is worth it if you can get it on a discount. Do not pay full price. Do not go into Best Buy or something and find one of these clear cases and pay $70. Don't do that. Get a discount. I think it's a great feeling case. Like I said, I've been dailying it now for over a month, and I will continue to daily it until dbrand sends the new updated version of their case, and then I'll give that one a go, and I may try some other cases. But for right now, this is going to be my daily for the 15, unless something else better comes out. But with all that being said, if you're interested in the screen protector that I'm using, because I actually had a lot of people ask in the dbrand video, because the 15s have like the curve on the edge now, and a lot of screen protectors don't work with that, and it's just a whole mess. I'll have the one that I'm using linked below. It's great. It's off Amazon. It's like the #1 rated screen protector that I've seen on like the forums and all that stuff. So I'll have that link below. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace.